Hello Year 3s and welcome back from lunch. As we all know, because we've discussed many times, maths is more than just doing equations and crunching numbers. Maths is fun and it's exciting, so this activity is also fun and exciting. We are talking about the maths phenomenon of symmetry. So quick hands up, has anybody heard of symmetry before? Can you tell me what you know about symmetry? Do you have examples of it? Did one of your parents come up with the concept? If so, please get me in touch. I'd love to hear that. No hands up just yet. Well, at the end of the lesson, I'm going to ask the same question. Hopefully that is completely different, and the goal is we can all discuss it and give some examples. So, symmetry. There are many natural and man-made objects which are symmetrical in both 2 and 3 dimensions. If there are some words you don't understand here, I'm going to break this down afterwards. Symmetry can be either rotational, when the image looks the same as when it's rotated around a center point, or the second one, reflective, when it is reflected on the other side of a line or axis. So let's make that simpler with some examples. So reflective symmetry is something like a butterfly. Now you can see that side A is the same as side B in both shape and size. It's like a mirror image. You've got the line of symmetry down the middle there, and one side is the same as the other. See, side B is like a mirror image of side A. That's an example of reflective symmetry. The other one we spoke about was rotational. Now rotational symmetry has many different lines of symmetry. So it's got its center point there, and it can be rotated around a number of times and it is still like a mirror image. So unlike the butterfly, this has many different lines of symmetry, which means it's the same from many different angles. So basically, because this can be turned numerous times without changing, this is a form of rotational symmetry. So again, to compare with the butterfly, we can see the rotational form of symmetry can be turned around many different times and it is still exactly the same in shape and size, whereas the butterfly, if we turn it even just once, all of a sudden that's completely different. So this is an example of something which is asymmetrical. So this angle, where it's A and B, is a different shape and size, meaning asymmetrical, but this form of butterfly is symmetrical. It's everywhere. So, quick activity, we are just going to go outside and have a bit of a symmetrical scavenger hunt. So the plan is to go out into the yard and we'll find different objects. We can point at them and say that's a rotational form of symmetry. You can say it's reflective. You can look at something and say, well, that's asymmetrical. Then we'll come back inside and have a quick discussion. All right, let's go, guys. Now we are back inside after our symmetrical scavenger hunt, and I heard heaps of good ideas here. There were leaves being spoken about, trees, tan bark, flowers, people mentioning the clouds as well, but then there was also forms of asymmetrical clouds, because not everything's the same. So some clouds were symmetrical from one side to the other clouds were different from one half to the other, meaning it's asymmetrical. Lots of good discussions going on. So we'll take all this knowledge and we're going to put it into our own activity. Make this practical, make this a bit more relatable, make it about us. So we've all got our photos, as discussed, from photo day. We've taken a photocopy. This is mine from a few years ago, many years ago, and we've cut it in half. So basically we need to fill in our other half. So filling in this half, what we're going to do is try and make it exactly the same as the photo. But we can add all fun things to it. If you want to put a parrot on your shoulder, put a parrot on your shoulder. But remember, it has to remain symmetrical. So if there's a parrot on this shoulder, parrot on this shoulder. If there's a scar on this side of your face, put a scar on this side of your face. It's not based around how good you are at drawing, but just try and make things symmetrical. So, to make our border for this symmetrical student, we're going to get a piece of paper, cut it in half, and just cut around it until we cut out something like this. So this is going to be our border for it. And at the end of it, we're just going to paste on our symmetrical student. So we've got a symmetrical background for our symmetrical student. To give you guys an example, just so you really know what you're doing, this is a finished copy of it. So you can see, this is the paper in half. You cut around that object, unfold it, so you've got your symmetrical background. I've decorated the background with some lines, but I've kept the same colours going through to make sure it's a reflective form of symmetry. And then you can see on the student there, I've also got, which is myself, a scar on one side, a scar on the other side. Earring, earring, name tag, name tag. Remember, the emphasis isn't on the drawing, it's on keeping things symmetrical. So after this, we're going to have a quick discussion to make sure we confirm all that knowledge we've just learnt, and then we'll hang these up. All right, let's get to work, guys.